Unfortunately, the line was never ending and the comments all the same. As soon as one well-meaning busybody stepped aside, another took his or her place. Not to mention, the low keen of my mother's wail hadn't stopped since the start of the receiving line of friends and family. It was suffering and agonized, and I felt bloody and beaten from the intensity of it. I didn't know how the fuck I was going to survive it through the end of the funeral and repast. And the words that everyone kept saying to me, words I knew were said with love and care, grated. They were ridiculous and trite. And the fact that anyone thought there was even a possibility of being okay at this point was preposterous. My sister had just died, for fuck's sake. God. I had to take a gulp of air to stave off tears, as I remembered the moment Levi told me she'd been pretending to be me. That she'd died saving me. We'd just arrived in our hotel room in L.A., and I hadn't stopped asking questions about how this could have happened, why it would have happened to Camilla, since our plane had taken off in Montana. Levi's face had been nearly lifeless as he'd clasped me gently at the top of my arms and settled me into the cushion of the couch without explanation. And there, down on his knees, with his heart in his throat, he'd explained it all to me. He'd started off by letting me know he hadn't been hiding the details of Camilla's death from me, but he had been waiting for the right time to explain it all, which, when it came to the tragic murder of my sister, there was no right time. It was all horrible fucking timing. But he'd told me nonetheless. How it happened, what had been going on when he'd arrived on scene. My sister pretending to be me to protect me from Boyce. His struggle to get a shot as Boyce had taken her from me. How Boyce had thought he was taking my life. How was I supposed to get over the guilt of that? The reality that if I'd just been awake, Camilla would still be alive. "You okay?" Levi whispered, pressing the side of his body up against the side of mine. The physical contact felt good, the warmth of his muscular arms seeping into the cold numbness of my own. "No," I said simply, clenching my teeth to fight the sting of tears as they pooled behind my nose. I wasn't okay. I wasn't coping, and I wasn't ready to let Camilla go. Levi's small smile was the very last thing I expected. A villain among the frowns and tears of everyone else. Granted, it was far removed from happy, reeking more of relief than anything else, but I couldn't reason what place it had here. I watched the blue swirl of the circular midnight pools of his eyes and basked in the strength of his fingers intertwined with mine. Even when the someone I was rallying to face was him, I flourished under his support. "Are you relieved that I'm struggling?" I asked through gritted teeth. My volume was low, but Levi took our privacy a step further, by leaning down to my ear to answer. "No, baby," he assured. "I'm relieved you're able to admit it. That means I might be able to help, that your family might be able to help." I moved back just slightly, enough to study his eyes, but the moment didn't last. My mother's gulping sob cut through my chest and pulled me around to face the front. Just to the left of my father, she was struggling to stand at the head of our line, her previously crisp black dress wrinkled at the edges from all of the physical contact. Mary Murphy was in her arms, swallowed by a hug full of grief, and a ratty tissue poked out from my mom's hand at Mary's back. Mary was a stranger to my mother, but she was no stranger to my mother's pain, and the sight of her made me go weak at the knees. No obligation, no pressure. She and Sam had made the trip from Cold all the way to L.A., just to be here for us in our time of need. If I'd ever had any doubts at all that the Murphys were the kind of family you dreamed of holding a place in, they were completely gone now. Levi noticed my stare, followed the line of it to Mary and Sam, and reached out to squeeze my hand. Despite my short temper with him and everyone else, I took it in my own and clutched it so hard they might permanently join. He nodded at me when I looked to him, a confirmation that the Murphys traveled here just for this, that I was important enough to them to show up, in my most desperate time of need. As the familiarity of what she and Sam and Levi